Welcome back to my channel. As you can see, I have some bat horns today. I don't know, it's like some bird ears. Birds don't have ears, man. Today's Monday, at least where I'm at right now. So happy Monday, happy new week starting. It's a great day. Sun is shining, weather is nice, and there's construction work happening in the flat right above my head. So I'm going to do my morning journal and here. This is part of my morning journaling, and also I'm going to go and write in a cafe for a little bit. Then gonna go ask about a job. I think I'm not gonna wait until they call. I'm gonna go and ask myself. Sometimes we stitch ourselves up. Sometimes we, put some sticks in our spikes. And sometimes we help ourselves out. So let's make the most out of it. Let's make the most out of our lives. You've got this. You've got your whole life ahead of you. You don't know how long that's going to be. And it's important to remember that you're powerful, you're strong. You don't even know how strong you are. That's the thing. You don't know what you can endure. And it doesn't have to be suffering. That's the thing. I was talking about suffering yesterday and the meaning of suffering. I was reading this book by Viktor E. Frankl, Man's Search for Meaning. And it's a great book. Still have a couple of pages left. But as he himself said, there doesn't have to be meaning. It doesn't have to be suffering to have meaning in something. But there's definitely meaning where there's suffering. Something along the lines of that. Not exactly like that. But yeah. That's Viktor E. Frankl, really inspiring book about Holocaust or about Second World War and how Nazis were basically just exterminating people. And in those kind of books, you start to realize that you're living a good life right now if you don't have war around you, even though there's war happening in the world, which is crazy when you think about it. And that's like the projection of the shadow onto the world. People are projecting hate. People are projecting, doesn't matter which side, they're just creating this hate, creating this massive amounts of energy that are giving one side or the other, just giving the whole thing, the whole subject, its power. And when you give it its power, it grows. And, it thrives on people hating. Hate is a strong, hate is comes from anger, comes from trauma. And all of us are traumatized. So as soon as we get to kind of push out some of that anger out on somebody else and put a finger on somebody and say, oh, that's his fault or that's their fault. It's so easy to get manipulated into choosing a side, and so easy to get to misdiagnose, so easy to just mix up your emotions and think it's one person or one side or the other, but it's none of that. It's the whole thing. That's why it's like, it's down to the individual. It's down to you and how you work your shadow. Whether you do some reflection, whether you meditate on, whether you sit in silence and feel what you're supposed to feel and not block those things out by numbing them with alcohol and drugs. You feel them out, feel what's right, feel what your soul is telling you to do, because your soul knows what's right, and your soul is peaceful. The soul is eternal, so it's living its eternal life. It knows that, what you are going through now is just temporary, and it's peaceful, and it's been through many lifetimes. It's been through many trials and tribulations and hardships, and but this is just one life. So that one life it's very temporary. 80 years, 90, 100 if you're lucky, or unlucky, depends how you see it. But people in concentration camps, they wanted to survive. Some of them gave up before the war was over. Some of them tried to run and ran into the death trap. Some of them tried to escape before it was time to escape. And Victor, he kind of let himself, how can I say it, gave it up to the higher power, because it decided that he's going to stay alive and he's going to tell this story. And I think that that's how I lived my life for a while, even though I made some choices. But you have free will, that's the thing, you have free will. I was exercising with a friend of mine yesterday, and we were talking about this, that with all our deepest, hardest truths and traumas, we still have free will once we understand what's wrong with us. Once we understand that, we should act one way or another, we still have free will. Don't know if this makes any sense, but we can look at ourselves from the side. Like he was explaining this with the author Victor. He was explaining this with people that have, let's say, some neurosis. That, let's say, one person was writing, his job was to write, and he was writing I think he was writing with a pen, because I don't think they were typing at the time, or he wasn't typing. And he was having these pains in his fingers. They were so severe, he couldn't write anymore. And, I think either Victor or another doctor said to them to write as bad as he can. Write with mistakes, write with, letters that aren't so focused to be nice, just write loose. As soon as he started to write, he realized that he couldn't write bad, but his pain went away. Another person had a fear of sweating in front of other people. And as soon as the fear came on, he would start pouring down with all of this buckets of sweat. And the therapy for him was to imagine that now he's going to show all the people how much sweat he can produce. So every time he would get the fear that he's starting to sweat, he would say, well, before I would sweat a gallon, now I'll sweat 4 gallons. And as soon as he started to do that, his fear went away, his sweating went away, and he cured himself like that. So it's like, you know, you see yourself from the side, you see how funny it looks, you know, how funny this whole situation looks. And, you know, life is not that bad. It's not the end. It's not the catastrophe. It's not something huge. It's not, you know, it's just another part of the journey. It's just another bit that we have to do. Like, I have to do these videos every day. I told myself I have to do them. Nobody told me that. But I love to talk. I love to talk, and I also have a fear of sounding stupid when I start to think how many videos I uploaded, how much people can probably just look at me and point fingers and be like, you know, it's just talking shit. Like, as I was telling my friend what I do, I said I just talk whatever comes to my mind. She was laughing, but we were just both laughing at it because it seems like such a... Who would be interested in that, you know? Who would be interested in another person talking about their life? Like, maybe it's embarrassing. Maybe it's, you know, why would you do that to yourself? And on the other hand, that's what we do every day. Just apparently nobody records it. But apparently there's chips in our brains that record all the conversations that we have. So everything's recorded, but by us, from the aliens. They're recording through our eyes, and everything is monitored, and you can't do anything wrong because aliens aren't that bad. They're actually helping us because we are a little bit like unevolved. As much as we think we are evolved, we're species destroying ourselves. That's what I read in a knowledge book by Bolen Chorak. So that's a bit of deviation, but yeah, I have fears, and I think I had this built-in kind of chip, let's say, that allowed me to understand these fears from when I was young, or maybe it was my parents, you know, when I told them that I was scared to, let's say, tell a poem in front of the class, but I would always do great because, I don't know, I trained a lot for occasions like that, and I don't know, it seemed like it worked out fine for me at school. But after school, I didn't study for 6 years. When I studied, I stopped studying again for another, 6 years now, probably. Yeah, 6 years have passed. So this is what's going on now in my life, and hopefully you found something useful in this. Yeah, so expose yourself to the fear that you're experiencing. Maybe put yourself, you know, exaggerate the situation. I really like the example with the sweating. You know, it's like, I'm gonna show them, you know, like I have a fear that the next job that I will find is I'm gonna quit sooner than the last job, or I'm gonna quit in general. So I'm gonna show them, you know, I'm gonna go, and I've thought about this. I'll imagine that I'm quitting the next day. Every day that I'll work there, I'll imagine that next day I'm quitting, or I'm not working anymore from tomorrow, so I will do my best whilst I'm working. Or something like that. I will build this sort of picture, and I will let you know, guys, how it goes. I'm grateful to you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. And I'm proud of you. Thank you for digging into your subconsciousness, into your unconscious, and revealing the hidden sides of you that you didn't know, to yourself mainly. That's the most important thing, because then you can build from that, you know, like ants. You know, we're like ants, kind of just carrying pieces of building material from all over where we can find, and we find these pieces and we bring them to the bigger house that we have. Once we experience that, once we see those ants, we see our inner world, because the outer world is a reflection of the inner world. I keep seeing ants when I'm walking and talking to you guys. And that's it. Every single day we put another piece, and it just depends on us how much we want to build. And we got to build, and we're going to build. So stay strong, stay focused, stay powerful. I love you, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Love you guys. Peace.